So if you told me that I have to control my child, break my trust, break his trust in me, but there's a 95% chance that he's going to get off drugs, it's kedai to do it. But if you tell me and they tell you, listen, you have to go ahead and break the trust of your child, that he knows that Tati Mami don't approve of you, don't like you, don't agree with you, which is not good for their long-term behavior, and there's only a 20% success rate, then you have an 80% chance that you're going to end up with a kid who has all those bad things that he had already, plus doesn't feel anybody trusts or understands him, which is going to lead to worse behavior, more rebelliousness, and that's why they're calling Shomrim and we're not. Because we're creating rebels. Because somebody said that, oh, in order to help them, it's very good for you to control them and set boundaries. They need to learn consequences. Really? Sick people need to learn consequences? People who want to die need to learn consequences? Someone who has fever, your child, you forgot that they were once normal before the fever? You have a kid who throws up all night, needs to learn consequences? They're hurting. There's these sweet kids. You got to be smarter than the professional. You got to say, hang on, I know this kid. I was there. I raised him or her. 7 years old, 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years most dependable, sweet, knew everything, and all of a sudden forgets, can't remember to put on his yarmulke? Really? He became forgetful? He has like dementia, Alzheimer's at 15 years old? Again, you came down without the yarmulke, and you're getting angry and angry at him. It's not going to make anything better. So they say, oh, I go to Avi, he's going to let the kid do whatever he wants. Miss the whole boat. They're missing the Havana of what we're trying to accomplish. Everybody here, think about it. Did you ever try to stop your kid from misbehaving? Did any of you try that? You tried it. If it would have worked, I would be out of business. So they're out of business, they're bankrupt, and they're criticizing me for picking up the pieces on the ones that they can't help. People suffer for years and years and years trying to get help. Send the kids to Utah and to boot camps and learn consequences. And it's very important to fight them, and you're the parent and all of that stuff. It's not a machlekes and shita. If that works, do it. But look at the risk you're taking, because if it doesn't work, you created from a sweet neshama an enemy who says, my parents don't like me. You went to someone, besides that I believe it's the wrong tipul, but you made a situation much, much, much worse. You actually are proof of that. He's proof of that. They went the regular way. You took a kid, made her so meshuggah, that his Pesach last year, 1 year ago, was that she came in, blew out the candles, shut off the light in the middle of the Seder. Blackout. What are you supposed to do? I'm going to chametz up your house, terrorize. She's a terrorist. Now she's a terrorist. You know, the Goyim, the Arabs have to be terrorists with bombs. On Pesach, a terrorist is just some crumbs. You come in with a cookie, you're a terrorist. You know, you need to have before you come into the house, you need to have one of those what do they call them? No, yeah, cookie detectors. Right? TSA, pat down. No, she came out, chametz up your house, just sprinkling crumbs. It's a terror attack. What do? What any normal person without training does. You tackle her, call Shomrim, call Hatzalah, I'm going to kill myself, and then, okay. So if that works, do it. No problem in Shita. But what if you did it, and it doesn't work, and now you're dealing with the psych wards, Nebuch Rachmana Litzlan, dealing with the psych wards, and the psych wards are sending our kids home. They're saying, sorry, the kid's not psychotic. You know, if you want to know what's wrong with sending your kids to the psych wards, look at all the people there, besides the frum kids. They don't present like our kids. Our kids are normal geschmack, and then they act meshuggah because of the pressure that we cause them to have that comes from trauma. PTSD is different than the real crazy nebuch people who are, I don't even know how to describe it, but you go there, you see it. I visit people in the psych ward, I see the difference. Shmaka kid who grew up in a frum family who's tried to kill himself because of his pain and his trauma, right? When you take away the pain and trauma, you're going to have great, great kids. I have such nachas. I got a call Erev Shabbos from my Bechar of Home Sweet Home. The first kid that I ever took into Home Sweet Home, 15 years ago. Oh, it was just celebrated our 15th anniversary. 15 years later. And he was telling me, he's Baruch Hashem, he's frum, he's erlich, he's working, he's married with kids living in Lakewood. He's gavaldik, he wants to open a sober home to help lost kids. Isn't that beautiful? It's amazing. And he tells me, Isn't that nachas? Real nachas. So he tells me, he goes, I just want to tell you, just last night, means I spoke to him Friday, 3 days ago, the night before, he tells me, last night, I told my wife, I just realized what you did for me. 15 years, because I never realized what you did for me. He said, when you met me, you have to understand, he was thrown out of psych wards, and he was thrown out of rehabs, and he was on the bottom of the world. He stole from people beforehand. He lived in a truck in Walmart, in an empty truck. He lived on the train. He was... everybody, it was the whole world against him. Everybody kind of hated him, and he hated everybody, full of anger. I saw a geschmacka, a spark in him. I saw a lot of good potential. So he told me, he goes, when you spoke to me, but when you talked to me, and I wasn't, Avi Fishoff Twisted Parenting. It was my first thing I ever did. I opened a home. I had no skill. I had no preconceived notions. That's what you're doing. You have to do what I did. I did it by accident. You got to learn how to do it and do it on purpose. Make your home sweet. So I took this kid in, and he said, when you talk to me, you made me feel like I want to live. By accident. I gave him a feeling like I didn't tell him anything profound. I didn't tell him, you have a long, beautiful life ahead of you. I see you being successful. I didn't say any of that. I thought he was a great kid. Even though he punched the other kid and then he was violent and then whatever, I saw just a wonderful, wonderful kid with a zisa neshama. Wow. For you, I have to stand up. So it was a nachas, right? This kid was amazing, and he's like, I just realized what you did for me. Okay. So that's what we have to do for these kids. And the mistake is, in their craziness, in their craziness, they have to know, my mommy and tati, trust me and believe in me. And that's where we split. Because the therapy world says, what, are you going to buy him a gun? We don't actually buy guns, by the way. We don't have to do that. But it's like, no, he has to know what he's doing is wrong. No. His nefesh, he's in trauma. His nefesh needs to know my parents support me and love me.
You have to deserve trust.
You have to deserve trust. What does he do to deserve? Earn it. What have you done to earn it?
You had it before you messed it up.
You sound very good. You sound like you paid a lot of money for that speech that did not work on your kids. We all know it. And you know what? As parents, it feels so good to hear because it empowers us. And it's like, yeah, heck. And every bill you pay, I'm paying the bill. It hurts, yeah.
20 years later.
20 years later, what do you mean?
It still hurts that many years later because the kids don't forget it.
Right, of course, the kids feel abandoned.
Talk about
And you tell them, like, what do you mean abandoned? I did it for you. Problem is that it's a very big gamble. If it doesn't work, then they feel abandoned. You broke the trust that they need to have in parents. And then you have a kid who's not only you didn't help and save, but who now has more issues that can really make it very hard to be successful in life. And we see that. We're doing the opposite. We are the respirator. We're not letting go no matter what. Anything that could happen, we will do. But not at the risk of separating the respirator. Absolutely not. You never risk the respirator. There's no reason for it. I mean, everybody's an individual. I still might tell you maybe change, but so far I never found a reason to yank that respirator. Unless he's hurting other people, which is very, very rare. Because when we do TP, they become shefelach, they become very sweet, and they want to be around you, and they don't want to hurt the other kids, and the fighting goes down. But you have to do that. Nobody else is going to do that for you. So whereas, like you said, go ahead. Whereas the regular mainstream puts the whole onus, the whole burden on the child in pain, no, go out and work. You think money grows on trees? Your parents are going to support you? Be a mensch, as if we have no idea where they came from. We forgot. We thought we just adopted them, and they're a bunch of spoiled brats. No, we say, Nebuch, the kid's in pain. We will carry you and support you. And what we've seen here is that when they're healthy, they're so thankful and appreciative, and they don't want your money, and they're not spoiled, and they don't want you supporting them their whole life. As soon as they can get out there and be a mensch, they will. They will.